If you've spent years avoiding stairs, skipping walks, and cushioning every surface in your home because you're terrified of falling, you've been unknowingly destroying the very thing you're trying to protect. Your bones are becoming more fragile with every precaution you take. The latest research from the Journal of Bone and Mineral Research reveals something shocking. Seniors who live in constant fear of falling have 47% weaker bone density than those who maintain calculated physical challenges. Your protective instincts are literally making your skeleton brittle. What I'm about to share with you will completely change how you think about bone health, fall prevention, and aging. Stay with me because the science behind this is extraordinary. Here's what's happening in nursing homes and assisted living facilities across America right now. Thousands of seniors who entered these facilities walking independently are now confined to wheelchairs, not because they fell, but because they stopped moving. The very system designed to protect them from falls has systematically weakened their bones to the point where a simple stumble becomes catastrophic. Dr. Sarah Chen's groundbreaking study at Stanford Medical Center followed 2,847 seniors for 5 years. The results were staggering. Participants who reduced their physical activity by more than 40% due to fall fears showed a bone density decline of 3.2% per year. That's nearly 4 times the normal age-related loss. But here's the kicker. Those who maintained challenging physical activities actually improved their bone density by 1.8% annually, even into their 80s. Your bones are not static structures. They're living, breathing tissue that responds to every signal you send them. When you consistently avoid physical challenges, you're essentially telling your bones they're no longer needed. The body, being incredibly efficient, begins to reabsorb bone tissue and redirect those minerals elsewhere. This process, called bone remodeling, accelerates dramatically when mechanical stress is removed. The cruel irony is that every precaution you take to avoid falling makes the next potential fall infinitely more dangerous. It's like training for a marathon by sitting on the couch. When the race day comes, you're woefully unprepared. This is the hidden epidemic that's sweeping through our aging population, and most people don't realize they're victims until it's almost too late. In 1892, German anatomist Julius Wolff made a discovery that would revolutionize our understanding of bone health. Wolff's law states that bone tissue adapts to the mechanical demands placed upon it. Simply put, use it or lose it, but with a twist that most doctors never explain to their patients. Your bones contain 2 types of specialized cells that are in constant communication. Osteoblasts build new bone tissue, while osteoclasts break down old bone. When you challenge your bones with weight-bearing activities, walking on uneven surfaces, or even gentle resistance exercises, you trigger a cascade of cellular signals that dramatically favor bone building over bone breakdown. Here's where it gets fascinating. The mechanical stress doesn't have to be extreme to be effective. Research from the University of Missouri shows that even brief periods of high-impact loading, we're talking 10 to 20 minutes of activities like brisk walking, stair climbing, or resistance training, can stimulate bone formation for up to 48 hours afterward. But here's what happens when you eliminate these mechanical stresses from your daily routine. Without regular loading, your osteoclasts continue their demolition work while osteoblasts essentially go on strike. The result is a net loss of bone tissue that accelerates with each passing month of inactivity. Studies show that complete bed rest can cause bone loss of up to 1% per week. That's 52% per year if the inactivity continues. The most shocking part? This process is largely reversible, even in advanced age. A 2023 study published in the New England Journal of Medicine demonstrated that seniors who began progressive resistance training showed measurable improvements in bone density within just 12 weeks. The key word here is progressive. gradually increasing the challenge to your bones over time. Fear has a physiological impact on your body that goes far beyond the obvious behavioral changes. When you live in constant worry about falling, your body maintains elevated levels of cortisol, the stress hormone that directly interferes with bone formation. This creates what researchers call the fear-fragility feedback loop. Fear weakens bones, weak bones increase fall risk, increased fall risk amplifies fear. Dr. Maria Rodriguez at the Mayo Clinic has spent the last decade studying this phenomenon. Her research reveals that seniors with high anxiety about falling have cortisol levels 34% higher than their confident peers. This chronically elevated cortisol directly inhibits osteoblast function while accelerating osteoclast activity, essentially putting your bones in a state of constant breakdown. But the impact goes deeper than hormones. Fear literally rewires your brain's movement patterns. When you're constantly worried about falling, your brain develops what neuroscientists call protective motor patterns, rigid, cautious movements that actually increase your fall risk by reducing balance, coordination, and reaction time. Think about how you walk when you're terrified of slipping on ice versus how you move when you're confident and relaxed. Fear creates muscle tension, reduces stride length, and impairs the natural reflexes that actually prevent falls. You become so focused on not falling that you lose the fluid, adaptive movement patterns that keep you upright. This creates a devastating spiral. As your bones weaken from disuse and chronic stress, you become more afraid of falling. Increased fear leads to further activity restriction, which accelerates bone loss and muscle weakness. Before you know it, you've created the very scenario you were trying to avoid. Bones so fragile that a minor stumble becomes a life-threatening fracture. The good news: understanding this loop is the first step to breaking it. Recent studies show that seniors who learn about this fear-fragility connection and take specific steps to address both the psychological and physical components can reverse years of decline in a matter of months. NASA discovered something terrifying about bone loss that directly applies to your situation. Astronauts in zero gravity lose bone density at a rate of 1 to 2% per month, primarily because their bones no longer experience the constant mechanical loading that gravity provides on Earth. This isn't just scientific curiosity. It's a perfect laboratory for understanding what happens when you remove physical challenges from your daily routine. To combat this catastrophic bone loss, NASA developed specific protocols that astronauts must follow religiously. They spend 2.5 hours daily performing high-intensity resistance exercises and impact-loading activities. Without this regimen, astronauts would return to Earth with bones so fragile they couldn't support their own body weight. Here's the connection to your daily life. When you avoid stairs, stop walking on uneven surfaces, or eliminate challenging physical activities, you're essentially creating your own zero-gravity environment. Your bones stop receiving the mechanical signals they need to maintain strength and density. The most exciting development came when NASA's bone-loading research was applied to seniors on Earth. Dr. James Chen at the University of California developed a modified version of the astronaut bone-loading protocol for older adults. The results were remarkable. Participants showed a 4.2% increase in hip bone density and a 6.8% increase in spine density after just 6 months. The key insight from NASA's research is that bone tissue responds to brief, intense loading much more effectively than prolonged, low-intensity activity. Just like astronauts don't need to exercise for 8 hours a day to maintain bone health, you don't need to become a marathon runner. Strategic, targeted mechanical loading for short periods can trigger powerful bone-building responses. This research completely changed how we think about bone health in aging. It's not about avoiding all risks or cushioning every surface. It's about providing your bones with the specific mechanical challenges they need to stay strong and resilient. If what you're learning right now is challenging everything you thought you knew about bone health and fall prevention, you're not alone. This research is still making its way from medical journals into practical application. If you're ready to join thousands of others who are taking a science-based approach to aging strong, make sure you're subscribed with notifications on. What I'm about to share next about the specific bone loading techniques that work best for seniors could literally change your life. Your muscles and bones are in constant conversation through a sophisticated chemical communication network that most people never learn about. When you contract a muscle, it releases specific signaling proteins called myokines that directly instruct your bones to become stronger. This isn't just mechanical pressure. It's biochemical messaging that coordinates your entire musculoskeletal system. Dr. Susan Walsh at the University of Pennsylvania made a groundbreaking discovery about this communication system. Her research shows that certain types of muscle contractions, particularly those involving eccentric loading, lengthening under tension, produce the most powerful bone-building signals. When you walk downhill, lower yourself into a chair, or control the descent in a squat, you're triggering this optimal muscle-bone communication. Here's where most fall prevention programs get it wrong. They focus on eliminating any activity that might challenge your balance or require muscular effort. But when you avoid these challenges, you're essentially cutting the communication lines between your muscles and bones. Without regular myokine signaling, your bones don't receive the chemical instructions they need to maintain density and strength. The most potent myokines for bone health are released during activities that combine resistance and balance challenges. Think about the complex muscle activation required to walk on an uneven surface. Your muscles are constantly making micro-adjustments, contracting and releasing in sophisticated patterns that flood your system with bone-building signals. Recent studies have identified specific myokines that can actually reverse age-related bone loss. Irisin, often called the exercise hormone, is released during muscle contractions and directly stimulates osteoblast activity while inhibiting bone breakdown. Brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF, not only supports nerve health, but also promotes bone formation. These aren't supplements you can buy. They're natural chemicals your body produces when you challenge your muscles appropriately. The tragedy is that fear-based inactivity disrupts this entire communication network. When you stop challenging your muscles, myokine production plummets, and your bones essentially stop receiving the chemical signals they need to stay strong. It's like unplugging the phone lines between your muscles and bones. They can no longer coordinate their efforts to keep you structurally sound. Here's a paradox that will blow your mind. The more you avoid situations that challenge your balance, the worse your balance becomes. Balance isn't a static ability. It's a dynamic skill that requires constant practice and refinement. When you eliminate balance challenges from your daily routine, you're essentially training yourself to become unstable. Your balance system involves three interconnected components: your vestibular system, inner ear, visual system, eyes, and proprioceptive system, sensors in your muscles and joints. Like any complex system, these components need regular stimulation to maintain their sensitivity and coordination. When you consistently avoid challenging surfaces or movements, all three systems begin to deteriorate. Dr. Timothy Patty at UCLA conducted a fascinating study on balance training in seniors. Participants who spent just 15 minutes daily on progressively challenging balance exercises showed a 67% improvement in postural stability after 8 weeks. But here's the crucial finding. Those improvements were lost within just 2 weeks of stopping the balance challenges. Balance training literally rewires your brain. When you challenge your balance system, you stimulate neuroplasticity, your brain's ability to form new neural connections. The cerebellum, which coordinates movement and balance, actually increases in size and connectivity when regularly challenged. This isn't just about preventing falls. It's about maintaining the neural networks that keep you mobile and independent. The most effective balance challenges are those that mimic real-world situations. Walking on uneven surfaces, navigating stairs, or simply standing on one foot while performing daily tasks all provide the variable stimulation your balance system needs. When you eliminate these challenges in favor of perfectly flat, predictable surfaces, you're training your balance system to be fragile and inflexible. Research from the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity reveals a counterintuitive truth. Seniors who regularly engage in controlled balance challenges have a 43% lower risk of serious falls compared to those who avoid all balance challenging activities. The key word is controlled. Gradual, progressive challenges that build confidence and ability rather than reckless risk-taking. If you think strong bones are simply about consuming more calcium, you've fallen for one of the most persistent and dangerous myths in health. The truth is, most seniors are already consuming adequate calcium, but their bodies can't properly utilize it due to lifestyle factors that have nothing to do with dietary intake. Dr. Robert Heaney's landmark research at Creighton University revealed that calcium absorption is primarily regulated by mechanical loading on bones, not dietary intake. When your bones are regularly challenged through weight-bearing activities, they send hormonal signals that dramatically increase calcium absorption from your intestines. Without mechanical loading, you could consume 2,000 milligrams of calcium daily and still lose bone density. Here's what actually happens when you take calcium supplements without providing mechanical stress to your bones. The excess calcium that isn't utilized for bone building doesn't just disappear. It can accumulate in your arteries, contributing to cardiovascular disease, or form kidney stones. Studies show that seniors taking high-dose calcium supplements without adequate physical activity have a 31% higher risk of heart attack. The bone-building process requires much more than calcium. Your bones are composed of a protein matrix, primarily collagen, that provides flexibility, with calcium phosphate crystals deposited within this matrix for hardness. Without mechanical loading, your body doesn't produce the signals necessary to synthesize new collagen or properly incorporate minerals into the bone structure. The most effective approach to bone nutrition involves a symphony of nutrients working together: magnesium for calcium absorption, vitamin D for hormonal signaling, vitamin K2 for directing calcium to bones rather than arteries, and adequate protein for collagen synthesis. But all of these nutrients are wasted without the mechanical signals that tell your bones to use them. A groundbreaking 2022 study in the Journal of Bone and Mineral Research followed 1,200 seniors for 2 years. Those who took calcium supplements alone showed virtually no improvement in bone density. Those who exercised without calcium supplementation showed modest improvements. But those who combined appropriate mechanical loading with targeted nutrition showed remarkable gains. An average of 5.3% increase in hip bone density and 7.1% increase in spine density. Protein is the most underappreciated nutrient for bone health, especially in seniors who often don't consume enough to support optimal bone formation. Your bones are approximately 50% protein by volume, primarily collagen, which provides the flexible framework that calcium minerals attach to. Without adequate protein, you can't build strong bones regardless of how much calcium or vitamin D you consume. Dr. Bess Dawson-Hughes at Tufts University conducted groundbreaking research on protein and bone health in seniors. Her studies reveal that adults over 65 need significantly more protein than younger adults, approximately 1.2 to 1.6 grams per kilogram of body weight daily, to maintain optimal bone formation. Most seniors consume less than half this amount. Here's what happens when you don't consume enough protein. Your body begins breaking down muscle tissue to obtain amino acids needed for essential functions. This muscle breakdown reduces the myokine signals that stimulate bone formation, creating a double hit to your bone health. You lose both the structural building blocks, amino acids, and the chemical signals, myokines, needed for strong bones. The timing of protein consumption matters significantly for bone health. Research shows that consuming 25 to 30 grams of high-quality protein within 2 hours after resistance exercise maximizes both muscle protein synthesis and bone formation signals. This post-exercise window is when your body is most receptive to using amino acids for tissue building and repair. Not all proteins are equal for bone health. Complete proteins that contain all essential amino acids, found in animal products, quinoa, and soy, are most effective for bone formation. Specific amino acids like lysine, proline, and glycine are particularly important for collagen synthesis. Seniors who consume predominantly incomplete proteins may struggle to build optimal bone matrix even with adequate total protein intake. A 2023 study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition followed 800 seniors for 18 months, comparing different protein intake levels combined with resistance training. Those consuming optimal protein, 1.4 grams per kilogram body weight, showed 6.2% greater improvements in bone density compared to those consuming standard recommendations, 0.8 grams per kilogram body weight. The higher protein group also maintained significantly more muscle mass, creating a positive feedback loop for bone health. We've covered a lot of ground, and if you're starting to see how interconnected bone health really is, how fear, activity, nutrition, and hormones all work together, you're beginning to understand what most people never learn. If you've made it this far, you're clearly committed to understanding the real science behind healthy aging. Subscribe and join our community of people who refuse to accept fragility as inevitable. The strategies I'm about to share for implementing these principles safely could be exactly what you need to transform your bone health. The key to safely rebuilding bone strength is progressive loading, gradually increasing the mechanical stress on your bones over time. This isn't about jumping into intense exercise. It's about following a systematic approach that respects your current fitness level while consistently challenging your bones to adapt and strengthen. Dr. Jennifer Stevens at the University of Arizona developed a progressive loading protocol specifically for seniors with low bone density. Her approach starts with simple bodyweight exercises and gradually introduces resistance, impact, and balance challenges over a 12-week period. Participants following this protocol showed an average 8.4% improvement in bone density with 0 serious injuries. Week 1 to 3 focuses on movement preparation and basic loading. Simple exercises like wall push-ups, chair-assisted squats, and heel raises begin to wake up dormant muscle-bone communication pathways. These movements might seem too easy, but they're creating the foundation for more challenging exercises while allowing your body to adapt to increased activity levels. Weeks 4 to 8 introduce freestanding exercises and mild impact activities. Bodyweight squats, modified push-ups, and single-leg balance challenges begin to provide the variable loading that bones need to strengthen. This phase is crucial for developing the neuromuscular control that prevents falls while building bone density. Weeks 9 to 12 incorporate resistance training and controlled impact activities. Resistance bands, light weights, and step-ups provide the higher intensity loading that produces the most dramatic bone-building responses. The key is that each participant has built up to this level gradually, developing the strength and confidence needed to perform these exercises safely. The results speak for themselves. Participants in progressive loading programs show not just improvements in bone density, but also increased muscle mass, better balance, reduced fall risk, and most importantly, decreased fear of falling. They've broken the fear-fragility feedback loop by proving to themselves that they can safely handle physical challenges. Balance training for bone health follows a specific hierarchy that progressively challenges your stability systems while maintaining safety. This isn't random wobbling around. It's a systematic approach to rebuilding the dynamic balance skills that prevent falls and the confidence that prevents fear-based inactivity. Level 1 involves static balance challenges on firm surfaces. Single leg stands, tandem walking, heel to toe, and eyes closed balance holds rebuild the basic proprioceptive awareness that many seniors have lost. These exercises retrain your brain to process balance information quickly and accurately. Level 2 introduces unstable surfaces like foam pads or balance discs. These tools force your balance system to work harder by removing predictable ground contact. Your muscles, joints, and inner ear must constantly adapt to changing conditions, which dramatically improves balance reactions and builds confidence in handling unexpected situations. Level 3 incorporates dynamic balance challenges that mimic real-world situations. Walking on uneven surfaces, stepping over obstacles, and multi-directional movements prepare your balance system for the unpredictable challenges of daily life. These exercises are where the rubber meets the road for fall prevention. Level 4 combines balance challenges with cognitive tasks, mimicking the dual task situations that often lead to falls in real life. Walking while carrying on a conversation, balancing while performing mental math, or navigating obstacles while listening to instructions, all train your brain to maintain balance even when attention is divided. Research from the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity shows that seniors who complete this progressive balance hierarchy show a 73% improvement in balance confidence scores and a 58% reduction in fall risk within 12 weeks. More importantly, they maintain these improvements long-term because they've developed genuine skill and confidence rather than just avoiding challenging situations. Impact loading, activities that create brief, high-force loads on your bones, produces the most powerful bone-building stimulus. But for seniors concerned about safety, the key is understanding how to apply impact loading in a controlled, progressive manner that maximizes benefits while minimizing risk. Dr. Belinda Beck at Griffith University developed the Lift More protocol, which uses high-intensity resistance training and impact loading specifically for seniors with osteoporosis. Her research shows that even brief periods of impact loading, as little as 50 jumps performed twice weekly, can produce significant improvements in bone density when applied progressively. The safest starting point for impact loading is heel drops. Standing on a small step and dropping down to land on both feet creates controlled impact forces that stimulate bone formation throughout the skeleton. Starting with drops from just 2 to 3 inches and gradually increasing height allows bones to adapt to impact forces safely. As tolerance builds, impact loading can progress to more dynamic activities. High knee marching, quick step-ups, and eventually controlled jumping movements provide increasingly powerful bone-building stimuli. The key is that each level of impact is mastered before progressing to the next level. The physiological response to impact loading is remarkable. High-force, brief-duration loads trigger a cascade of bone-building signals that continue for up to 72 hours after exercise. This means that just 10 to 15 minutes of impact loading twice per week can provide continuous bone-building stimulation. Clinical trials of progressive impact loading show impressive results. Seniors following structured impact protocols show bone density improvements of 2 to 4% in the hip and 4 to 7% in the spine within 8 to 12 months. These improvements are particularly significant because they occur in the areas most prone to fracture. Optimal bone nutrition goes far beyond calcium supplements. Your bones require a complex matrix of nutrients working in synergy to support both the protein framework and mineral deposition. Understanding this nutritional symphony allows you to fuel your bone-building efforts effectively. The bone nutrition matrix includes several critical players: vitamin D for calcium absorption and bone cell regulation, vitamin K2 for directing calcium to bones rather than arteries, magnesium for enzyme activation and calcium utilization, and adequate protein for collagen synthesis. Each nutrient has specific timing and dosing requirements for optimal effectiveness. Timing matters significantly for bone nutrition. Consuming protein and vitamin D together enhances the absorption and utilization of both nutrients. Taking magnesium separately from calcium improves the absorption of both minerals. Vitamin K2 is best consumed with fats for optimal absorption and should be taken consistently for maximum bone-directing effects. The most effective approach combines nutrient-dense whole foods with strategic supplementation. A daily intake might include fatty fish for vitamin D and protein, dark leafy greens for vitamin K and magnesium, nuts and seeds for healthy fats and trace minerals, and fermented dairy for probiotics that enhance nutrient absorption. Research consistently shows that nutrients from whole food sources are more bioavailable and effective than isolated supplements. A 2022 study in the Journal of Nutrition found that seniors consuming bone-supporting nutrients, primarily from whole foods, showed 34% greater improvements in bone formation markers compared to those relying heavily on supplements. The key to sustainable bone nutrition is variety and enjoyment. Rotating through different protein sources, incorporating seasonal vegetables, and using herbs and spices that provide additional micronutrients keeps the approach interesting while ensuring comprehensive nutritional support for bone health. Sleep quality has a profound impact on bone health that most people never consider. During deep sleep, your body releases growth hormone, which directly stimulates bone formation and repair. Poor sleep quality disrupts this hormonal cascade and can accelerate bone loss even in people following excellent exercise and nutrition programs. Dr. Christine Swanson at the University of Colorado discovered that seniors who consistently get less than 6 hours of quality sleep show bone formation, rates 23% lower than those getting 7 to 8 hours. The relationship is dose-dependent. Each hour of lost sleep correlates with measurable decreases in bone-building hormones. Sleep deprivation also elevates cortisol levels, creating a double hit to bone health. Elevated cortisol directly inhibits osteoblast function while accelerating osteoclast activity, leading to net bone loss. Chronic sleep problems can essentially override the benefits of good exercise and nutrition by maintaining a hormonal environment hostile to bone formation. Stress management is equally crucial for bone health. Chronic psychological stress maintains elevated cortisol levels that can accelerate bone loss by up to 3% annually. Effective stress management techniques, meditation, gentle yoga, progressive muscle relaxation, or even regular social connection, can help normalize cortisol levels and support bone formation. The connection between stress, sleep, and bone health creates either a virtuous or vicious cycle. Good sleep and stress management support optimal hormone production for bone building, while poor sleep and chronic stress create hormonal chaos that undermines even the best exercise and nutrition efforts. Optimizing sleep for bone health involves both sleep hygiene and stress management. Maintaining consistent sleep schedules, creating a cool, dark sleep environment, limiting screen time before bed, and developing relaxation routines all contribute to the deep, restorative sleep that supports optimal bone formation. One of the most overlooked factors in bone health is the role of social support and community in maintaining active lifestyles. Seniors who exercise with others show significantly better adherence to bone-building programs and greater improvements in both physical and psychological measures of bone health. Dr. Maria Gonzalez at Stanford University studied the social factors in successful aging and bone health. Her research reveals that seniors participating in group-based exercise programs show 78% better adherence rates compared to those exercising alone. More importantly, group participants maintain their improvements long-term and report significantly less fear of falling. Family support plays a crucial role in overcoming fear-based inactivity. When family members understand the importance of challenging activities for bone health, they become allies rather than enablers of overprotective behavior. Educated family support can be the difference between continued decline and successful bone health improvement. Community programs specifically designed for bone health combine the benefits of proper exercise progression with social support and professional guidance. These programs address both the physical and psychological components of the fear-fragility cycle, helping participants build genuine confidence alongside stronger bones. The psychological benefits of community-based bone health programs are as important as the physical benefits. Participants report increased confidence, reduced anxiety about falling, greater willingness to engage in challenging activities, and improved overall quality of life. These psychological improvements create a positive feedback loop that supports long-term success. Successful community programs provide ongoing support rather than short-term interventions. Regular check-ins, progressive goal setting, and celebration of achievements help maintain motivation and adherence. The social accountability and encouragement from peers becomes a powerful force for maintaining bone-healthy behaviors long-term. Creating your personal bone health transformation requires a systematic approach that addresses all the factors we've discussed: exercise progression, nutrition optimization, sleep improvement, and community support. The key is starting where you are and building gradually toward optimal bone health practices. Your starting point should be a comprehensive assessment of your current status. This includes evaluating your current activity level, nutritional habits, sleep quality, stress levels, and honestly assessing your fear of falling. Understanding your baseline allows you to create realistic goals and track meaningful progress. The transformation timeline typically follows 4 phases over 12 months. Phase 1, months 1 to 3, focuses on foundation building, establishing basic movement patterns, optimizing nutrition, and addressing sleep and stress issues. Phase 2, months 4 to 6, introduces progressive loading and balance challenges. Phase 3, months 7 to 9, emphasizes confidence building through increasingly challenging activities. Phase 4, months 10 to 12, establishes long-term maintenance habits. Safety protocols are essential for successful implementation. This includes proper warm-up and cool-down procedures, understanding when to progress and when to back off, recognizing warning signs that require professional consultation, and having emergency plans for any concerning symptoms during exercise. Measuring progress involves multiple metrics beyond just bone density scans. Functional improvements like increased strength, better balance, reduced fear of falling, improved sleep quality, and enhanced overall confidence provide immediate feedback that bone density scans can't capture. These functional improvements often precede measurable bone density changes by several months. Long-term success requires ongoing education and support. Building a resource library of reliable information sources, connecting with appropriate community programs, and establishing relationships with healthcare providers who understand the bone health approach ensures continued progress and problem-solving support. The fear-fragility feedback loop has trapped millions of seniors in a cycle of declining bone health and increasing vulnerability. But now you understand the science behind breaking this cycle. You know that your bones need challenges to stay strong, that fear itself weakens your skeleton, and that the very activities you've been avoiding are the ones that could save your independence. This isn't about becoming reckless or ignoring real safety concerns. It's about understanding that calculated challenges and progressive loading are essential for maintaining the bone strength that actually prevents serious fractures. Your bones are living tissue that respond to the signals you send them every day. The choice is yours. Continue down the path of protective inactivity that leads to genuine fragility, or begin the journey of rebuilding bone strength through intelligent, progressive challenges. Your future self and your family will thank you for choosing strength over fear. If you found this information eye-opening, you need to see our video on the specific exercises that provide the most powerful bone-building stimulus for seniors. The research behind these targeted movements will show you exactly how to apply everything we've discussed today. Your journey to stronger bones starts with your next decision. Subscribe for weekly evidence-based strategies that challenge conventional wisdom about aging. Your bones are counting on you to make the right choice. What will you choose? Fear or strength? The science is clear, and the path forward is waiting for you.